Nowadays, Austin Hill is one of the most polarizing and, let's be honest, hated drivers in NASCAR today. Whether with his words, actions, or results of both, he has earned no favor from really any of the fan base. So why is this? Well, let's take a look. There are a few big things we'll talk about for sure, but I do want to point out one small thing that these also add into with the hatred coming towards him. And that's just he dominates super speedways in the Xfinity series. And I think it's more or less that, one, it's a driver that's not likable, but two, it's not necessarily anything he did wrong. It's just that people don't like domination, especially when they expect to see a race that anyone could win with the super speedways. And that really goes for anyone. Even the most popular drivers, from Jeff Gordon to Dale Jr., the people who weren't fans of them were tired of their domination. So there is that. On a bigger one, there is the attitude. Hill does have a personality that is tough to like. To his credit, he'll stand by his wrong actions sometimes, but the problem is he'll blame others for his actions, or even more hypocritical, he will go after people for doing similar things that he's done, whether it be overly aggressive driving, taking people out, or not helping him at a super speedway or at a certain point. It's something that's grating on people, and the hypocrisy is something else that just no driver is going to get favor for. The incidents, though, this is the biggest one. I think if he had all of those things except the incidents themselves, the big ones at least, he would not be as hated of a driver. He'd be more of an annoyance for people. But, of course, we have to look back to 2023 for one of the biggest. Hill versus Creed. Racing for a championship 4 spot in 2023, the 2 and the 21 were up front in the front row at Martinsville. Creed gives Hill a bump and run multiple times. Nothing too egregious, but definitely if you're a teammate, probably something that's not going to be the greatest back and forth. But also, Creed's on his way out of RCR, so who cares, right? And Hill ends up going full on into the back of the 2, destroying his car, costing both of them the race, and an ensuing giant wreck happens. Now, this dumb moment in and of itself, or at least dumb choice, is not the worst in the world. It's what Hill does afterwards that a lot of people really spoiled on him with. Hill, afterwards in an interview, basically talks bad about his teammate, how much he doesn't like having him as a teammate, and then spoils the announcement that was supposed to happen of him going to Joe Gibbs Racing. This is part of a larger RCR problem and meltdown that we'll talk about later. But with that, Creed was kind of the lovable and winless underdog. None of this did Hill any favor with the fans, and it was a pretty classless move to do that when they were holding that for an announcement. What makes this kind of funny is that about a year and a half later, there was a meltdown at Martinsville in the Xfinity series this past year in 2025, and it was not exactly that great of a look for the series. People talking about the Xfinity series not coming back to Martinsville. Oh, it's turning into the way the truck series was for years. And Austin Hill, when the drivers all came together to talk about it, to see what they could do to fix this, stood up and wanted to lead by example.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready? Ready!
Well, as of what we just talked about and what we will talk about, it was laughable, and he was basically laughed out of the room, and industry members all over the place, from former drivers to media, were all laughing at this as well. It's not much, but it really fits the hypocrisy of Hill. Speaking of another moment that people really didn't like, Hill versus Myatt Snider. I credit this punch of Myatt Snider into the shadow realm with 90% of the reason why all of my live chats call Austin Hill the big bully. How about the big one? This past year, this past couple weeks, Hill has become public enemy number 1, and probably for this clip alone. It's pretty clear, especially when you put it in slow motion, that his bright white gloves go right on towards the direction of Eric Almirola, and it was clearly intentional. It was after an admittedly great save, though. I think people forget that, but we could all see that Austin Hill was the one that did this on purpose. It was not an accident. It was not the car veering over, but he was committed to the innocence bit until it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to get away with it, was parked by NASCAR, and then was filling their radios with an expletive-filled rant. For the obviously guilty verdict that was going to be given, he was suspended a race, and he lost all of his 2025 playoff points, which, with the amount of wins he's had, yeah, that is a pretty big deal. But still, this is probably the most egregious and hopefully top of the mountain when it comes to Hill moments, but I don't know if that's going to be the case because his first race back, he didn't earn any favor as well. Now, I don't think that this move against Michael McDowell was intentional, but I think that it was instead a low percentage and, in my opinion, just a dumb move. It was just a bad move. And in doing this, it caused the biggest wreck in Xfinity Series history at Watkins Glen, and a wreck that was incredibly dangerous for a lot involved as you look at the aftermath. It was completely avoidable. He could have lived to see another corner, but I will say, to his credit, he did seem to take a little more accountability this time, so maybe something's starting to get through. But it was his first race back from the aforementioned suspension. He couldn't wait one race to try and put it where it really didn't need to be.
Think, Mark!
But this is not simply just an Austin Hill problem. I also think this is an RCR problem as well. The team and the owner are seen now as a joke. Their best days are behind them, and a few weeks ago, a lot of people compared them aptly to the modern Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. And when interviewed about the incident at Indianapolis with Eric Almirola, Richard Childress had this to say about it, which didn't earn him any favor either.
Nothing. I'll be in bigger trouble than I already am with NASCAR, period.
Do you think Dylan should be suspended?
Do what?
Do you think Austin should be suspended?
Hell no. They didn't do a damn thing to the 2 car when he wrecked Ty and admitted to it, drove him in the right rear and wrecked him at Coda. It's who you are. We're a blue-collar team. They give us trouble all the time.
All right, guys, thanks.
To me, when there is no accountability from the top, there is no expectation of accountability through the team and at the driver's level. In my opinion, if RCR and Richard Childress don't take accountability and try and fix these things, there is no incentive whatsoever for Austin Hill to do it. I give him credit, Richard Childress that is, for at least defending his driver and having his back. But this is one of the moments where you have to at least say that can't be acceptable, we'll work on it. It didn't happen. In closing, I will say this. I think Austin Hill is actually a really talented driver. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for, and there's a reason he's stuck around in the Truck and Xfinity Series so long and done so well when you look at his career. But his constant issues and his poor judgment show why he is so far away from being Cup ready, and he shouldn't be in a full-time Cup car for a while. Plus, add in all the different smaller incidents, radio calls, and immaturity in general, and it's pretty easy to see why Hill is one of the most polarizing and hated drivers in NASCAR today. With that being said, what are your thoughts on Austin Hill? Do you think he's being unfairly dogpiled? I've seen a lot of people say that. Or do you think that it's finally time that people get this kind of accountability to him? Or do you simply just not care and you're entertained by all of it? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. Until next time, have a good one.